Hello there, I'm Martin Messier from Daily NLP, and today I want to bring you a tiny pattern that Tony Robbins uses in his Unleash the Power Within program. It's a powerful influence pattern, so what we're going to do is we're going to listen to a little bit of the program, maybe something like 30 seconds, and this happens right at the beginning of his program. And then afterwards, I'm going to come back, then we're going to hear it again, and then I'm going to dissect it for you. Cool? Let's hear it.
So here's my goal with you. I don't want this to be a class. We're going to try something different. We're going to go into 21st century learning. See, this was designed for you to obey, to enter the 20th century, where your job was working in an industrial complex of some sort, maybe building cars or something. And so they trained you from birth that you'd arrive on time, check in, do what you're supposed to do, and sit and shut up till someone told you what to do, and then you only did what they told you to do, and you didn't talk to your neighbor.
Awesome. So, did you pick up on the pattern? Let's hear it one more time.
So here's my goal with you. I don't want this to be a class. We're going to try something different. We're going to go into 21st century learning. See, this was designed for you to obey, to enter the 20th century, where your job was working in an industrial complex of some sort, maybe building cars or something. And so they trained you from birth that you'd arrive on time, check in, do what you're supposed to do, and sit and shut up till someone told you what to do, and then you only did what they told you to do, and you didn't talk to your neighbor.
Okay, welcome back. So first, before I go into it, let me single it out for you. So this time you can really hear it neatly.
See, this was designed for you to obey.
So the pattern is something that in NLP we call embedded commands. And the embedded command that Tony is giving his audience is to obey. And the way that he does that is he marks out the word obey. If you'll pay attention, you'll notice that he marks it out using a tiny little space before he says the word obey and a tiny little pause, tiny little space after he says it. Let's listen to it one last time.
We're going to go into 21st century learning. See, this was designed for you to obey, to enter the 20th century, where your job was working in an industrial complex of some sort, maybe building cars or something.
Boom. There you got it. So that's something that Tony uses very early on in his Unleash the Power Within program. During the weekend, he uses that on the Friday evening sessions. And he uses this to get his audience to immediately start responding to him and surrendering their conscious choice to him. And so basically, during the entire weekend, he's going to direct them. So when he says, this was designed for you to obey, there's two things. He marks it out with a pause, but you can notice that the command is masqueraded. It's camouflaged within a sentence. So when you're consciously listening to it, you could sort of like get fooled by the fact that he's talking about an old learning system, old learning methods. But when in fact, all that is just camo to put in that command and slip it in, and so it comes in unnoticed. So my question to you is, now that you know how this works, how can you apply it in your own communication when you need to influence and get your way? So first, let's break down the pattern. So the first thing that Tony does is give the frame. Listen to it.
So here's my goal with you. I don't want this to be a class. We're going to try something different. We're going to go into 21st century learning.
Then Tony delivers the setup.
See, this was designed for you to
Then he delivers the command.
obey.
And then he closes with the distraction, which is he goes back to the previous theme.
To enter the 20th century, where your job was working in an industrial complex of some sort, maybe building cars or something.
So here's the structure for you to apply it. First, you need the frame. Second, you need a setup. Third, the command. And fourth, you have to distract. You need the distraction. So what you need to do is first figure out what response you want. What is it that you want? In his case, he wants people to obey. You have to figure that out for yourself, in your case. Number two, if you were to tell your prospect to do it, what would you command? What would the word be? If you were like the ruler of the universe and you were to tell them specifically what to do, what would you say? Buy, comply, agree, follow, figure that out. Then you design a frame or a theme around it. You see, in Tony's case, he's talking about learning. We're going to go into 21st century learning. You've got to figure out a frame or a theme that fits around that action. And then you can use the exact same setup as him. See, this was designed for you too. And then boom, you deliver the command with that little pause. And then you follow up with the distraction. You continue on with the theme. So that way the command has to be blended into the entire process, the entire conversation, the overall theme, if you will. So that's how you do it. So hopefully you picked up something important here. Structure it. Structure the way that you're going to persuade your prospect, design your frame, use the setup, and then continue on with the distraction after the command, and you'll be good to go. As usual, if you've got any questions or comment, send me an email at martin@dailynlp.com. Talk soon.